Hello, Tube. What is enlightenment? That don't feel comfortable, does it? I'm sitting on top of the blanket. Well, let's get in the right position to do this video. That's better. What is enlightenment? Enlightenment. When a person is truly enlightened, they see the same things that everyone else sees. They hear the same things that everyone else hears. They know the same things that everyone else knows. But that's only the that's only the four senses. They also feel indescribable peace. They also feel indescribable bliss. For instance, when the average person goes on holiday, they experience moments of intense happiness or moments of intense or other moments of boredom. So you might experience happiness and you might experience boredom. But when the enlightened person goes on holiday, they only go on holiday if someone asks them to go on holiday. So they don't even have any desire to go on holiday. But they don't have any desire not to go on holiday either. They don't experience boredom because they have no expectations. So if they stay in the caravan all day long, they won't be bored. And at the same time, if they go on the biggest roller coaster, of course they will enjoy it, but they will also feel like they're somewhere else. So they can also experience the thoughts and sensations of another person thousands of miles away if they wanted to put their mind in that direction. I thought I'd do this video because people talk about enlightenment, but people also scratch their heads and think, what does enlightenment mean? You don't gain anything from meditation, but what you actually do have is you lose fear, you lose anxiety, and you lose any other negative emotion, and you're left with peace and you're left with bliss. So people talk endlessly about coronavirus. I'm not I'm not the least bit concerned about it. In fact, when I think about illnesses like that, it brings a feeling of confidence and tranquility. Instead of most people, when you talk about serious illnesses like cancer, HIV, all different illnesses, heart attacks, people sometimes talk about, or heart problems, or they can talk about head injuries or whatever else, strokes, heart attacks, anything like that. It does register with the enlightened person, but the enlightened person has freed up has unlocked the seven chakras within their kundalini, and therefore they have a much greater. They see their body. Okay, let's give a metaphor. When you buy a takeaway, you need a plate, don't you, for most takeaways? Say you buy a curry, you need a plate. In the same way, the enlightened person, the enlightened soul, sees the body as just a vessel for the experiences of this planet. So, in the same way, you need a plate to eat a takeaway, say a curry or a Chinese or whatever. You need a plate. It's preferable. It's easier to have a plate to eat it off than cutlery, isn't it? So, it is easier for the soul to experience life on planet Earth to have a human body. That's one metaphor. So, what are we talking about here? The soul unlocking the seven Kundalini chakras, and the effect this has. It has a ripple effect. So, It brings a much greater vibration because the vibration is very intense. So there'll be some people who feel an intense attraction to that soul because of the magnetism of that soul. There'll be some people who feel an intense magnetism to that soul, and then there'll be other people who go completely the opposite way and they feel a complete annoyance, a complete anger towards that soul. Because when they look at that soul, all they can see is freedom, and that makes some people pissed off. It makes some people annoyed because they want to capture that feeling. All the money in the world can't capture that feeling. You can go on the highest ride, you can go on the highest, you can go on the most exhilarating, you can have the most exhilarating experience. You can spend all your money on it, and still you can only have that experience for a short, fleeting amount of time, because it's not permanent, and that's what people are looking for. When people are out in the world, they're looking for happiness. They're looking for happiness in a trillion different directions. In every direction, they're looking for happiness. But to find happiness, you have to get a dart and you have to fire it at the bullseye. It's no good firing the dart in a trillion different directions. You have to fire it at the bullseye. You have to shoot the arrow straight at the bullseye. Because if you fire that arrow in a trillion different directions, you'll never reach the bullseye. The bullseye is not outside of yourself. The bullseye is in your heart there. That is where the bullseye is. If you fire that arrow in any other direction, you'll spend the rest of your life looking for happiness. Every moment of your life you'll be looking either for happiness or you'll be looking for peace. But if you fire that dart in the right direction towards the bullseye, if you fire that dart at the bullseye, which is the heart centre, then you'll be free. But of course it is way easier to fire anyone will tell you it is way easier to fire a dart in a trillion different directions than it is to hit the bullseye. To hit the bullseye, you probably have to spend hours every day aiming for that bullseye. The same with happiness. To experience true happiness, you have to really, really work on it. You have to go deep into the heart of the bullseye and into yourself. To become a warrior, to become a champion in everything, in anything, you have to have a hell of a lot of discipline. And in the path of happiness, the only way you can be truly happy is to have discipline. Discipline is the benchmark of all success. All happiness comes from discipline, including peace. Peace cannot be had without discipline. People think they can just escape their lives and go off into the sunset, drive off into sunset, and then eventually they'll reach a place where peace and bliss exist eternally. But this is not true. No matter where you are, you can fire that dart into the bullseye. You can experience peace and bliss within yourself. This only is that.